Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. The fastest way to get over somebody is to get under somebody else. That's what a therapist said? I demand their license.
I thought that's what you said.
And it works. 50% of the time, it works every time. Mended light. So, the fastest way to get over somebody is to get under somebody else. In other words, the story of our relationship.
What?
What?
So who was getting over whom?
We were both getting over people.
Oh.
And as I recall, I got under first.
All done.
Okay.
So done.
Okay, so but there's the adage, this isn't just therapists who say this, that
This
goes
is
around.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's a country song that you're a fan of that touts this
What?
exact message. That if someone's broken your heart, you just need to quickly enter into a physical relationship with somebody else, and that'll help you get over that other person. What do you think about that?
That sounds much more clinical.
Well, yeah, I was laying out what it means. I'm a clinician. You're going to get clinical thoughts from a clinician. It's like talking to a veterinarian, and you're like, that sounds like something a vet would say.
Tangent.
Squirrel. What do you think? Is that good advice?
No. I think it's terrible advice.
Okay.
I mean, in the short term, sure, get those dopamine hits. It's all good. You're going to feel great for a few minutes. But then you're going to feel terrible.
Why?
Because whatever challenges, heartache, whatever, is coming up from that last relationship.
Yeah.
It's not going to just go away because you try and cover it up with another relationship.
Yeah. The same patterns are still going to be there.
Yeah, whether it's behavior patterns, coping mechanisms, whatever it is. And it's so easy to attach our worth to our relationship. It's so easy to attach our worth to belonging or having meaning in a relationship. But then what happens is once you're no longer in a relationship, where's your meaning? Where's your worth? Where's your belonging? And I think that's what so often happens with the need to be in a romantic relationship. And, not to get all child psychology on you, but it stems from not having those healthy attachment needs met, usually in childhood. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's oftentimes where it starts from. And so we go from person to person because we're looking to have our worth validated by a romantic partner. And the whole concept of getting over somebody by getting under somebody else is that I was in a romantic relationship and now I'm going for something more casual. That it's kind of meaningless, but it just helps me to get over the other person. Here's my issue with that. It's a counterfeit. Number one. I remember there was a girl in college that I was crazy about, wanted to marry her, broke my heart, didn't work out, and
I'm so sorry.
Thank you. I mean, everything worked out in the end, but it didn't work out between her and I. And it was several months that I was kind of in the doldrums about that.
Yeah.
Until I met somebody else with whom I felt chemistry, like I felt a connection. And we didn't enter into a physical relationship, but just the experience of, I can feel this again. Mm-hmm. Right? Because, you kind of get in this headspace of, I will never love again. You get into this headspace of like, that was it. That was my one shot. Like, I can never feel something that good again. Like, that was it. And I blew it. And just being able to feel like, oh, no, this can be with somebody else was incredibly liberating for me. But the counterfeit of that is I'm going to just kind of physically hook up with somebody and it's not real. It's empty calories. Not only that, but if they're not realizing that it's casual, if they're not realizing that it's just empty calories, if they're putting their hopes in you, then you've gone from being the person who gets hurt by somebody to being the person that hurts somebody else, right? By leading them on, or they get attached to you when you were never planning on getting attached to them. And that's not going to make you feel any better. You've gone from being the victim of the story to the villain of the story. No es bueno. In my opinion, the best way to get over somebody is to be okay to be on your own. Mm-hmm. The best way to get over somebody is, okay, you've got to ask yourself, what other relationships, non-romantic relationships, can I cultivate that are rewarding? Mm-hmm. Right? And that
because we all need connection. We all need belonging. It doesn't have to happen in a dating or romantic relationship.
In fact, immediately on the heels of being with somebody, I would say it's best that you don't. Because if you fall into what, the rebound relationship, that whole idea is there's a vacancy, there's a void, and it hurts. There was somebody there before, and the instinct is just to fill it so it's not there anymore. But it's so easy to be in love with the idea of love and to not even actually see the real person, but to just fall in love with this idea of what this person represents. And then you just set yourself up to have your heart broken again or to break their heart. And then the void is there again. And the void will be there over and over and over again until you are okay to be on your own, until you can fill your life with things that satisfy you, until you can fill your life with, well, these are my talents, these are my gifts, here's how I'm going to use them for my own satisfaction or to help other people. Here are the hobbies, here are the skills, here are the pursuits, educational or career that I'm going to go after. These are the things to fill your life with and to get into a place where you're actually okay to be on your own. And that's going to take a lot of lonely nights. You're used to sleeping next to somebody. You're used to eating dinner with somebody. You're used to being held by somebody. And now you don't have that. And the only way through it, is to actually feel it. And to do that so you can do the work to get to a place of, I actually like being on my own. I actually like who I am. I like my life. I don't need someone to complete me. And then I can choose to invite somebody in. What?
Oh, I just think of the Jerry Maguire line.
You complete me? Yeah.
Yeah. And you say, you compliment me.
Yeah.
Is not as sexy.
Or you supplement me.
Or
yeah.
you supplement
yeah.
me. Is not as sexy of a line. And is not as romantic, but it's a lot healthier.
Yeah. It's a lot more true to what the process looks like. Breakups are hard. Losing someone you care about is hard. A quick fix, a dopamine rush of a physical relationship, it may seem like that's just the ticket. I've yet to see that be the case, where it gets somebody where they need to be. Entering quickly into a new relationship after a breakup usually indicates that you're not okay to be alone. And that's a place where you can get manipulated and taken advantage of. Right. I like to say that if you're afraid of drowning in a sea of loneliness, then you'll grab a hold of whatever slimy piece of driftwood that comes floating by. Right. You've got to be able to swim on your own. And it is hard. And we would rather just take the comfort sex. We would. But there's a lot of risks that come with that. And not just, you could get pregnant or you could get an STD and all those scare stories from sex ed and school. I'm talking psycho-emotional risks. I'm talking about, like, if I have a broken ankle and it's just been reset and I haven't gone through physical therapy, it's not ready for it, and I start running on it, that type of risk. I just had my heart broken, so what am I going to do? Instead of allowing myself to take the time to heal emotionally and allowing myself to mourn, I'm just going to jump right next into the next relationship. That is setting myself up for another heartbreak and another heartbreak and another heartbreak until I learn the lesson of, I got to be okay to be on my own.
So great. So if you find yourself in the situation where, that's what you're wanting to do is just rush into another physical relationship. So you're not sad, so you're not lonely, so you're not alone. Putting that time, that effort into other relationships, like you talked about, friendship relationships, family relationships, but even into hobbies or things you wanted to try. Or, I found it very therapeutic to go and do volunteer work, right? Because what your brain is looking for is connection, right? And then dopamine, right? The feel-good hormone. You're looking for that in your life and recognize that there's other ways to get that.
And when you're feeling lonely, that's probably when you're most compassionate towards other lonely people. Yeah. So it's a great time to be there for them.
Absolutely. And if you've enjoyed this video, check out our video, A Baby Fixes Everything.
That's great advice.
Because it does, doesn't it?
If your relationship is falling apart, just get pregnant.
That's why we have so many babies.
Wow. That was dark. And it worked. Yay. How do you deal with breakups? What's your recipe? What's your formula? What helps get you through it? Let us know in the comments below. What would you like us to talk about? What is some terrible advice that you've gotten from a therapist that you'd like us to react to? Let us know in the comments below. Until next time, keep shining because we need your light.
Mexican food is what gets John on through breakups.
It's true. And Strawberry Nesquik and Jackie Chan movies. That's the formula. Oh, look. It's that video we were talking about. Yay!
Check it out.